Morning, everybody, and thank you for being here with us for the monthly update on the Hedge Investment Credit Fund. The month of June was quite difficult for us. We reported losses of around 1.5%, predominantly linked to our bearish positioning. We, in a way, saw like very strong triggers in terms of our bearish stance, so we increased our shorts when we saw several events of extreme illiquidity in the fund industry, both with the case of Woodford and with H2O in Europe. We thought that could have triggered what we think eventually will be a cascade of illiquidity in the markets. But eventually those were superseded as events by the expectation of strong liquidity injection coming from both the Fed and the ECB and potentially even Bank of England eventually. We discussed this in the past that we think the market is having expectations which are a bit too strong in terms of the immediacy and the timing of those interventions from central banks, and secondly, the impact of such interventions. Consensus already expecting some sort of resumption of quantitative easing in Europe in September, October, just because the ex-IMF chief is joining as the next president. And we think those expectations are quite positive, but a bit too optimistic. At the same time, obviously, it's clear that the fund industry barely recovered from the losses last year for those being long, and I think there is still a lot of underinvestment, which probably is creating the right technical condition for an extreme rally. In the month of June, we probably had one of the few months in history where all the asset classes went up. The vast majority of our shorts were in the macro side, especially related to trade war. The trade truce was again Photoshop opportunity created by Trump. We think the picture there is not changing because China has changed. China has adopted a much more aggressive strategy to squeeze Trump, similarly to what he did with Mexico and Mexican tariffs. So we do expect that eventually to resurface. We think trade wars is a necessary evil in this new world of tech-driven and induced deflation. So on that, obviously, we had shorts like the Hong Kong dollar, like Standard & Chartered equity. At the same time, we had plenty of shorts via put option on the equity and so on. Those didn't work, but we think the issues, the fundamental issues we saw, they're still very much out there. On events and corporates, we have plenty of idiosyncratic situations which we find incredibly interesting because the market is very dislocated, very much into a beta buying mode. And so on that, we see plenty of opportunity for which we're positioning. We see the Celgene Bristol Myers deal about to close relatively soon, and Nadarco with Occidental, and Chevron should be closing by the end of September. We see plenty of opportunity in Telecom Italia team savings conversion, and we're positioned also on the Brazilian telecom sector for consolidation. So on the market neutral idiosyncratic story, we see plenty of opportunities. We see stress and distress being very, very heavy in Europe, especially the yield sector. We think it will not be saved by lower rates, and so we're very much prepared for that. So the big opportunity we see now going forward is obviously on the idiosyncratic stuff, stress and distress, and before that, investment grade names like Casino effectively going past the Rubicon, where negative rates don't make any difference for their refinancing capability. So we remain very positive, very bullish on the opportunity going into the end of the year, both from the macro events, given the illiquidity, which is becoming absolutely extreme in the market, and at the same time on idiosyncratic stories, whether it's M&A or corporate activities. With this, I thank you, and we'll probably speak again towards the end of September after the summer break. Thank you very much.